The path that I was on didn't feel like it was what I truly wanted. It was more what was set out for me or what was expected of me. I was working towards all of these things that just seemed like what I should be doing. To have a job that paid well and sounded important, to own a home that looked impressive, get married by 25, have kids by 26. And I felt like I was trying to align with a set of ideals that just weren't mine, and chasing, I guess, this whole life aesthetic that wasn't mine either. Everything just kind of felt off, nothing felt right, and I just wanted to start over. Let me paint the picture of what my early 20s looked like. I had worked really hard to get my life to a point where everything looked and sounded great. I was in a 7-year relationship where getting engaged was just around the corner. I had plans to have kids within the first year of being married. I managed to purchase a small house in the north of the UK. I was working a stable corporate job that paid reasonably well, and I drove a car that made me feel all bougie. But ultimately, I was absolutely miserable. I was extremely depressed and felt anxious constantly, and basically just used food as my comfort and my safety blanket. I know it's so easy for this to come across as ungrateful or unappreciative, but I just wasn't living my life for myself. I was more concerned with how my life looked to everyone else rather than how I actually felt about it, to the extreme of being in a long-term relationship with someone that I knew wasn't right for me. There was this plan and path that was almost put in front of me that felt like I just had to follow. Everything was already outlined for me, but I just didn't like where it was going. I was completely paralyzed by fear though. I was so scared of change and doing anything about my situation. I felt like I was too late, I was too deep in, and that this was just my reality now. Accept it and deal with it. This all came to a tipping point where I woke up one morning and thought, is this really it? Is this really what my life is going to be? Am I just going to go on forever living this life? I knew that I just wanted to start over, have a fresh start and work towards a life that I actually really truly wanted. To have a job that I actually enjoyed, to be in a relationship with the right person, to be able to look in the mirror and see a happy, healthy version of myself. As you can imagine, there was a lot of things that I had to manage and deal with after making this decision. Lots of loose ends to tie up, so to speak. But once that was all worked through, I just left the country. I moved to a completely new place to start over. Within 6 months of that morning that I woke up and I knew I had to do something, I'd moved to the other side of the world and met my current partner, who I've been with ever since. Then within 12 months of that morning, I'd lost over 75 pounds and started pursuing a completely new career. This was all over 5 years ago now, and as I get closer to 30, I can't believe the chain events that have taken place since that one morning. I honestly wouldn't have been able to imagine everything that has changed since then if I tried back then. I went from this depressed, lost and unfulfilled version of myself to one that is happy and aligned with what I want and actually doing it. I don't want my story of starting over to be some kind of promotion for leaving your job or relationship or uprooting your entire life. I just want to show you that starting over is possible. You don't need to be fearful of change or fearful of the unknown. The best things that have ever happened to me were on the other side of that fear. We don't all need to run away to a new country to start over, but then some of us do, and we need to start living a more unconventional life. But whether you want to live an unconventional life or a conventional life, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, as long as it's on your own terms and it's what you want to do. I truly believe that we don't try out enough things. We don't try out enough paths that we would like to potentially take. Wanting to start over so often comes from taking the wrong path, a path that more than likely was chosen for us, or we just happened to go down, rather than consciously choosing it ourselves. Then we get to a point where we realize that it's not right for us and it's just not what we want. Whether it's a career, a relationship, or a certain lifestyle we're living, we go down this one path and this one way of living without ever trying anything else, and then wonder why we end up unfulfilled and unhappy. If we think about when we are going to buy a new pair of heels or any kind of shoes, The first thing we do is look and see if we like the look of them. The second thing we do is then see if they have our size. Then the third thing we do is try them on, walk around and see if they feel good. We go through this process to find a pair of heels that we like the look of, fit us well, and feel good when we walk around in them. But when it comes to choosing paths in life, we tend to just dive straight in. There's no looking around, trying anything on and seeing how they feel. Imagine going to a shop and being told that you have to choose one pair of shoes that you can't actually try on and swap to see if you like others more. And also that you can't ever buy another pair ever. These are the one pair of shoes you have to wear for the rest of your life. We would think it's crazy. There are so many different paths we can take and so many different paths that we should try out to see what we like. Starting over isn't a bad thing. It's our opportunity to finally start trying things we always wanted to but never did. How on earth can we know what we want to do with our life if we don't even know what's out there and what options there are? There is so much variety and different styles of living our lives to choose from now. It's okay that we don't know what we want, but trying things out is the only way to know. Moving into this career for a while to see if I like it, living in this place to see if it suits me. We are looking at a giant wall of thousands of beautiful heels to choose from. We just need to start trying them on to see what we actually like. Someone I have known for over a year now and has been working with me as part of my coaching program started over in an extremely dramatic way. And I don't want her story to seem insensitive or heartless in any way because it involves backing out of essentially the biggest decision two people can make in life together. Something that was unimaginably difficult for her to do. She called off her wedding. Everything was booked and paid for, and the day wasn't far away. In the build up to this huge decision, she wasn't happy in her career anymore, which was actually a business that she owned. She felt stuck in the same town that she grew up in. She felt stuck in a relationship she knew was not right, and she was on a path that she knew wasn't her own. She was completely overrun with a fear of change, and like she was too deep in to get out with basically everything. This all came to a head when she called off her wedding. She took the leap and knew things needed to change. That was the day she started over. Since then, her life has completely changed. Her career has shifted massively, and now she's doing something completely new and foreign. She travels the world. She's constantly working towards a strong and healthy version of herself physically, and she's on a path that truly aligns with her now. The courage she had to make this one huge life decision has set off a chain of events that completely changed her life and gave her the confidence to take opportunities that have been put in front of her. Her choice to start over wasn't easy, but she knows it was the best decision for everyone involved. She conquered her fear of change and the idea that she was too late and she may as well just accept her situation. She is thriving now. She is living a super unconventional life to what she was on the path to, and it's on her own terms. There's this trap that we can fall into, and I did this for years when it came to so many different things in my life. It's the I'll do that one day trap. Before I started over, I had a graveyard of New Year's resolutions, goals I set for myself, and promises I made to myself about all the things I was going to do that never happened. I just told myself that one day I would get around to these things, and I never did. It's so easy to fall into this trap. Wasting time planning things that we never end up doing, talking to people about plans that we never end up doing, and before we know it, years have gone by. I always love watching vlogs of people that live in New York City, and I always find it so interesting that so many other people do as well. They generally perform better than a vlog in any other city around the world. Why though? Why does someone walking around and living their life in New York perform so well compared to others? Yes, it's partly down to the creator and how entertaining the video is, but it's mostly down to the fact that it gives everyone a taste of what it's like to live their life in New York. This is a city that so many people dream of living, visiting, or have some level of infatuation for. So it gives people a glimpse into that lifestyle. It satisfies the one day I would love to live there, instead of actually doing it. It's not the same thing though. Living vicariously through someone on a screen and doing something ourselves are completely different things. But for a brief moment, it can feel similar. It just adds to this one day I'll do that trap. We need to stop dreaming about starting over and romanticizing starting over and actually doing it. Of course, everyone's circumstances and situations are different, but if there is even the slightest possibility of being able to start over and do the things we always wanted to, we should do it. What is the worst thing that can happen? If we look back at the past 12 months and nothing at all has changed, what's the risk of just using the next 12 months to pursue this fresh start? The only bad thing that can happen is that nothing changes and we are still in the same situation, which we already were from the year before anyway. At least you'll have a year's worth of internal progress to show for it. If you made it to the end of this video, take the leap. Be delusional, be exceptional, be extraordinary, and be uncommon. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one. Love you.